Guys, hello everyone! It's only been 3 days after one Part 70 episode, but already now all the viewers want to see what will be next, and I decided not to sit idly by. And especially for you today, I will tell you what approximately will be in Part 2. I tried to anticipate everything to the smallest detail. So today you will find out what is the secret of the main Astro Toilet and what's his plan next. Who exactly broke the elevator at the end of Part 1, and will the agents survive? And also, of course, we'll talk about the scientist, because we have a leak of footage of him, but Dafuk didn't show it to us in Part 1, and at the end I'll tell you about the secret agent's appearance, and even possibly other living people. So I promise you'll love today's theories and analysis, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because 95% of all viewers watch my videos without subscribing. That's a very big number. And if we try to get it down to at least 90%, I'll make another cool video for you. Now let's start right away with the scientist, because he's the only character we've been shown in the leaks who won't appear in any form in the episode itself. And that means that he will definitely appear in the second part, because there is a number 70. I've already told you that most likely it will be the plunger who will meet the scientist face to face. And judging by the latest footage in the elevator, this could be true. However, of course, the scientist himself will not break any elevators. It's too risky for him. And so it will most likely be done by his subordinates, to whom he has given the mission to get the plunger alive so that he can personally kill him. And since, in my opinion, it is Leek, the scientist, judging by the angler, has lifted the plunger and wants to punish him already. After all, Plunger has been wanted to be killed for a long time, and he always somehow survived. So the scientist's order for Plunger is a realistic continuation of episode 70. But there is another option. Given that this is the beginning of Part 2, maybe Dafukboom will decide to start this part not immediately with action, because he always leaves the climax for the middle or end of the episode. So maybe the elevator is broken by other agents, and there's nothing to fear. Because besides the team of women and large cameraman, there are other teams that are already inside the lab and are looking for the plunger team. For example, we can remember these agents from the end of episode 69, who entered the base from the main entrance. And in the time of once part of 70 episodes, they could have already reached the elevator with Plunger. Personally, I would have liked it better if the elevator was broken by agents, because this way the survivors will be replenished, and so the search and the battle for the scientist will be much more interesting. Let's move on to the main Astro Toilet. We all remember his phrase, "You all will die," which was addressed to the TV man Titan in response to his more impertinent phrase, "Who do you think you are?" So, it turns out that in episode 41, when we were first shown TV Man Titan 1.0, he said this to the toilets, "You all will die." Yes, that's word for word what Astro Toilet said. I will remind you that at the time of episode 41, TV Man Titan was the strongest character among all other agents, as basically now after his last improvement. But then we didn't pay much attention to his words. But after episode 70, his phrase gets a different color. Basically, by doing so, Dafuk is telling viewers that that's it. Folks, this Astro Toilet has taken over the title of the strongest character in the Skibidi Toilet series. It's now official, he is the sole boss who is traditionally impossible to beat. Because of his super speed and 3 arms against him, you need to find a specially designed new Titan, or an old but improved one that will have super speed technology added to it. As promised, let's talk a little bit on the subject of people. As in episode 69, so in episode 70, Dafukboom actively started showing corpses of people. But while in 69 it was skeletons, albeit some with clothes on, in episode 70, we already see blood and a man who was burned alive. This all tells us that these people were alive not long ago. And this fact completely changes the view and the future of the series. After all, until the last 2 episodes, Dafuk was silent about himself and did not even hint that there are still survivors on this planet. It was these poor souls who were most likely kept in a hidden prison lab for experiments or other purposes, which is why they managed to survive until this episode. But unfortunately, after the agents attacked, these people died in the process of the battle. However, since Dafuk is showing more and more hints like this, I think maybe even in part 2 of episode 70, we will be shown a living person that the agents will try to save. And even if it doesn't happen in episode 70, it is very likely that we will see such a scene in the next episode or season. As for the secret agent himself, I think he will appear in the full version of episode 70 in additional scenes. As it was in episode 69, when in parts he was not shown normally, but in the full episode, revealed a very cool scene with the transfer of the remote control to the red cameraman. Well, now let's talk about Plunger's hallucinations. Remember that the twin cameramen who died in episode 69 appeared before his eyes, so one of my subscribers suggested that these twins in the form of hallucinations will help Plunger's squad and tell them where to go. Perhaps their appearance is not the only trick, and this ability will haunt Plunger for a couple more episodes. But there is also a variant that it is ghosts or something else. But this I do not know 100%. We will have to wait for part 2 to understand 100% what it was really. So write in the comments your options, what will be in part 2 of 70 episode, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because I will remind you that 95% of viewers are not subscribed to the channel. With you was, as always, Iron Cameraman. See you in the new videos. And while they are being prepared, I advise you to watch the analysis of the 70 episode if you haven't watched it yet. And that's all for now, folks.